Well, good morning, everyone. It's 10:15 a.m. on Wednesday, the 26th of May, and you should get this in your inbox on Saturday morning, the 29th of May. First of all, just remember that we don't have a Q&A session next Monday afternoon. You've all got a day off. It's spring bank holiday. So looking at the front page of VectorVest UK, and as you can see, a fairly good situation. Short-term trend is up, underlying trend is up. We've got that confirmed up in place. That's been in place way back since the 11th of November, and the traffic light is mildly bullish. VectorVest advocates buying safe, undervalued stocks that are rising in price at this time. The buy-sell ratio is a respectable 2.68, a long way away from the mega overbought situation at over 4, and the MTI sitting at 1.36, again a way away from the mega overbought situation at 1.6, 1.65. If we have a look at the market timing chart, and that's how you pull it up, folks, we can see that the composite is pushing up. We had a couple of weeks where the underlying trend was down, but the primary wave was down, and now the primary wave has turned back up in sync with the longer term trend. So let's have a look. That's the last confirmed up on the 11th of November. And as you can see, the confirmed call does a really good job in keeping us in sync with the overall trend, and just saying that these little bits don't matter that much. You should be buying into positions when the color guard and the primary wave turns to up in sync with the underlying trend, in sync with the confirmed call, and that happened 3 or 4 days ago, somewhere down around about here. So I'm reasonably pleased with that. If we have a look at the medium-term market timing signal, and that is known as the DEW, and if I put the DEW signals, these are medium-term, so they're an awful lot noisier. And as you can see, the DEW in the UK turned up yesterday after the close yesterday. All of the measures of the market are on an up signal on VectorVest UK, and I'm reasonably pleased with the portfolio that I've got. There's always one, and of course SLP, Sylvania Platinum, pulled back. It pulled back to trend line support yesterday, and it went on to a sell signal on VectorVest. So if I just pull up SLP to start with, because I know many people have got it. It closed below the VectorVest stop loss yesterday. As you can see, all the metrics on VectorVest are really good. It's undervalued. RV is great. RS is great. CI is great. The growth rate is great. It's on a very low PE of 5. But remember, we buy into stocks based on technical analysis and fundamental analysis, but we in fact get out of stocks primarily because of technicals, and as you can see, the RT is at 0.74, saying the short-term trend is down. What am I doing? Well, let's have a look at the chart. I'm still holding mine as of this moment, and as you can see, there are my 3 moving averages that I talked about in the essay, 21, 55, 89. That's the bow tie where they crossed, and that's my first purchase there at 47 pence, and I've held it the whole way up. As I mentioned, the Q&A is when it pulls back and it interferes with the last major top. That's a sign that the trend is slowing down, but I held it and it did very well. It's pulled right back, and it seems to have found support at this trend line, and those of you that know me will know what I'm going to put in next. The Fibonacci Retracement, the 78% is sitting pretty much at the same place. I've noted, ladies and gentlemen, that it bounced, and it bounced strongly this morning to over 126 a moment ago. Here's what I'm going to do. As long as that yesterday's low is intact, then I'm going to hold on to the share. If it closes below yesterday's low, I'm going to get rid of the share and think again. So that's what I'm doing. I'm not saying you should do that, but that's what I'm doing with SLP. As you know, if I've got an outright position, which this is, in other words, I own the share, then I do not put stops in the market. If this had been a spread bet, which it was not, then I would have had a stop loss in the market yesterday, and I would already have been stopped out. I'm holding on to this as long as it doesn't close below yesterday's low. If it closes below yesterday's low, I'm going to get out of the share. I'm going to think again. I can always get back into it. As I wrote in or recorded in that YouTube video yesterday, capital must be protected at all costs. As you can see, the earnings per share graph is looking really good. And if we look over a year, you can see that earnings per share has gone from 5 pence to 25 pence. So the underlying fundamentals here remain exceptionally good, and the share price pulled back because of a weakness in commodities right across the board on the London market yesterday. Okay, I note that platinum has risen for the last 2 days, so hopefully that will stem the tide on SLP, but nevertheless there's quite an ugly looking pattern on the platinum price that may need another pullback before the trend resumes again, and I'll spare you the analysis of that particular pattern, but nevertheless this move down was caused by weakness in the platinum price. So if I now go back into VectorVest itself, a really useful Unisearch to run every weekend to look for potential opportunity is this explosive EPS stocks. It's a very simple Unisearch. Stocks price must be above 50 pence. The stock should be on a buy recommendation, volume traded of this, and very importantly, the stock's earnings per share. This is forecast earnings per share delta, which is the change over 13 weeks, should be greater than 25%. So this share should have had earnings upgraded by 25, forecast earnings upgraded by 25% over the last quarter year. And if I run this, and I run this most weekends, if I run this, I can find shares that have got a tremendous amount of opportunity. Now, they're not setups per se. For me, I look at these stocks. Now, the same names keep coming out. Cape Tech has been coming out of this for the last 2-3 months. Royal Mail has been coming out of this for the last 6 months. BlackRock World Mining has been coming out of it a lot. This is a new one. Electra Private Equity has been coming out of it. So if I have a look at Cape Tech, for example, if I go back to the start of the month, the 4th of May, and I run it on the 4th of May, you can see that Cape Tech was there on the 4th of May as well. It finds stocks that are growing earnings strongly. I then look at them and look for a reasonable place to buy into the stock. That was Cape Tech, and during this period since the start of March, it's been growing earnings strongly, and very simple entries would make us some money here. So a very useful Unisearch to run every weekend. I think that RIT Capital, RCP.L, this is where the Rothschilds keep their money, so always useful to have a look at it. This BlackRock Euro Fund has done exceptionally well, and this Bailey Gifford chart looking very strong indeed. As you can see, there's my moving averages. That's a bow tie and then a negative bow tie, and then a few days ago we got a positive bow tie, and this would seem to be charting an ascending triangle. There's the earnings per share has risen from nothing to 20 pence, and as you can see, the VectorVest valuation has gone up at the same time. So that's something to have a look at over the next few days. During in the essay itself, I looked at Clipper, and Clipper was brought to my attention initially by Nigel, one of our oldest subscribers, and this is Clipper, and it's a great example of everything working together, and that's earnings per share, and this is an earnings per share blip that came out of that Unisearch that I've just spoken about. As you can see, earnings per share is rising, and over the year it's gone from 20 pence to 27 pence. So reasonable increase. There was the bow tie, and that bow tie is still in place, and as I said in the essay, you get really lucky when you're trading in sync with that bow tie. The stochastic indicator makes a great place to enter, folks, in sync with the trend. So if the bow tie is positive, then the stochastic dipping down below 20 invariably produces some great entries, and on that chart we've got one entry point, two entry points, three entry points, and maybe four entry points here on that particular chart. So the stochastic, as we discussed in Monday's Q&A, is stochastic with the trend gives outstanding signals. Against the trend, it's really awful. As you can see, it was overbought up there and the market just laughed at it. So a trading strategy, if you've got a positive bow tie, the 21's above the 55 is above the 89. Earnings per share is rising, the fundamentals of the stock are good, then pullbacks where the stochastic goes below 20 are particularly good trading signals. They're even better if you get a little bit of what I refer to as reverse divergence, where from this particular low the price is making a rising bottom, but the old stochastic is making a falling bottom. That's called reverse divergence, and it invariably produces a strong and a very tradable move. Did the same thing here. As you can see, there to there, that's rising. From here to here, that's down a bit or flat. That's reverse divergence, produces a tradable move. So I think that this really took my attention, this blip up in forecast earnings per share, and as you can see, the share price responded very quickly. The news got out, and people bought into it, and the next stochastic buy signal after that would have been a great place to have got in. If you had just bought into it on this breakout, well, you've made good money along the way. You had to endure that little bit of a pullback, but such is life. So outstanding fundamentals, folks. The general market should be rising. Put on the confirmed calls. There's a confirmed call up just there. Okay. And at this stochastic signal, certainly this one, we were within a confirmed up. That's a great place to enter. So really great fundamentals. Use the 21, 55 and 89 to determine the technical position, and of course the general market must be coming to the party, and for most of us, if we've got a confirmed up in place, that means the general market is coming to the party. And if you want to finesse your entries, then it's a matter of in a positive bow tie situation, sitting and waiting until the stochastic gets down below 20. That can be difficult, and as I've said to you many times before, doing nothing is much more difficult than it would seem. When you tick all the boxes, the cash takes care of itself. So have a great long weekend, folks, and I'll see many of you next week. If not, the next Q&A will be on Monday, the 7th of June. Monday the 7th of June. All right. Thanks very much. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.